Welcome everybody, we're back for the ESL India Premiership organized by Nordwind Gaming. I'm CloudX and we're watching Random5 take on XRG. XRG will be on the Radiant. Unfortunately, they haven't tagged up in the lobby, while Random5, they've done their bit. They're going to be on the dire side for this one. It's a best of one. One of these two teams will be knocked out. The other one will proceed through the brackets, getting themselves ever closer to qualifying for Challenger Cup number 1, aka the first LAN leg of the ESL India Premiership. Starting off with the draft, you've got a Lycan and a Beastmaster getting banned out. Random5, they've opted to first pick the Ancient Apparition, which means that the Alchemist is an option for them if they want to hunker down for the late game. But XRG, not too bothered about the Alchemist for themselves. They've opted to ban out the Doom, the Lion, and they've picked up the Slaughter and the Phoenix as their opening 2 picks. So with the Phoenix, they've now got a very strong support with plenty of team fight control. They've also got the armor reduction from the Slaughter to try and bring down a possible Alchemist pick from Random5. I do feel like the Alchemist is a viable option here for them, given that they picked up the hard counter, aka the Ancient Apparition, but they will have to protect the Alchemist quite a bit at the middle lane if they do choose to run him. But Random5, they're really thinking this through here. They've boiled down to 30 seconds of reserve time. Not gonna take this lightly, so they'll go with the second Icy Beast, aka the Winter Wyvern. So the power of Frost compels them, as Random5 have now added some team fight control to their own ranks. But I'm really not seeing the synergy between a Winter Wyvern and an Ancient Apparition as the support duo. They've got the slow from the Arctic Burn and the Splinter Blast. They've got the the stun from the Cold Feet, but I don't think this is too great of a duel off lane. I mean, they'll definitely have the tools needed to zone out the Slaughter, but getting a kill seems next to impossible. And of course, if the Slaughter finds one of these two by themselves, especially if it's the Winter Wyvern without the Arctic Burn at the ready, he could pummel away a few hits and force him to use that Cold Embrace, thus effectively reducing the mana available at his disposal for the Splinter Blast harass, sorry. So you've got the Templar Assassin getting banned out by Random5, while a Zeus gets removed here by XRG. And then it's going to be followed up with the Alchemist ban. So they are worried about that Alchemist being picked up after all. And with the heals from the Cold Embrace and no Ancient Apparition Ice Blast to stop those heals, I think it is a worthy ban coming out from them. Random5, now they seem to have found their groove here, as they'll ban out the Void as their 4th ban without too much thought going behind it, because it does look like XRG has already picked up their offlaner in the form of that Slaughter, and unless they were thinking of running a 1-position Void, I see no reason to ban it out really. There's plenty of options that are worthy of a ban here, including but not limited to the Slark and possibly even the Gyrocopter, but we'll see an Earthshaker getting picked up by XRG. That'll be their 3rd pick and their 2nd support. So they've now revealed what their tri-lane is going to look like, with an Earthshaker and a Phoenix to support upper core. Just remains to be seen what their 1-position and their 2-position heroes will be. Well, Random5, they've still got to pick up all 3 cores on their side, an offlaner and a mid, as well as their final hard carry pickup. And as far as options go, it's pretty much an open buffet at the moment. For the middle lane, you could pick up a Queen of Pain, possibly a Dragon Knight if they wanted something a bit more tanky. Ember Spirit is an option as well. The Invoker is up for grabs too. But for now, they'll reveal their offlaner by picking up the Tidehunter. And unless XRG wants to run this as a core Earthshaker, I see no reason to pick up the Rubik for themselves. They'll go with the Invoker. So the nerfs to the cast point on Invoker spells no longer a threat, as they'll continue to pick up the Invoker even in the new meta. And I've got to say, there's a lot of synergy for the Invoker, especially if it's an Exort Invoker. You've got the Sunstrike to follow up with the plethora of stuns that the Slaughter and the Earthshaker will bring to the table here. Well, Random5, 4th pick on the board. What did they go with to deal with the Invoker? They'll go with the Storm Spirit. This is a matchup that I think favors the Invoker a little bit, especially with the thought of an Earthshaker rotating in towards the middle lane to slow down and stun up that Storm Spirit within the first 6 levels of his game. I do feel like the Invoker could find a kill on the Storm. Last bans and last picks on the board here. XRG have opted to ban out the life sealer, while the anti-mage will be removed by Random5. So the life sealer ban implies that they were expecting that infest bomb coming in with the infest into the ball lightning initiation, whereas the anti-mage ban has left me a little bit confused, but I can't say I disagree with it. Anti-mage does work well versus the Storm Spirit. The Mana Void just decimates him and his teammates if blown at the right time. And of course, given that XRG has 4 heroes that are very adept at creating space, having that anti-mage free farming and split pushing might not have been a bad choice. But Random5, they will get the Gyrocopter as their 5th and final pickup. So that's their hard carry hero. Lots of magic damage coming out from them. And plenty of team fight control as well, with the call down and the ravage at their disposal. Last pick on the board here for XRG. They need a carry of their own. The Slock, the Sven, both very viable options at this moment. Give me a moment, guys. I'll be right back. Apologies for that. We don't have a last pick coming out just yet, but XRG has plenty of time here. A good minute and 40 seconds, so they could think this through, determine which carry would suit their needs best. You know, one of the old school counters to the Gyrocopter was the Huskar, and in this game I feel like the Huskar would add a lot of value. Even up against the Storm Spirit, he's basically a flying ball of magic damage for the most part. Storm Spirit not the most heavy hitter, and well, Gyrocopter in the early and mid game phases as well. He relies on the magic damage burst from the Rocket Barrage and the call down. The flak cannons do pose a real threat towards the late game phase, but up until that point, Huskar just picks on the Gyrocopter and rips him apart bolt by bolt. I would like to see a Huskar pick. It's not something we see very often, but it's one that could make some sense here. We'll have to wait and see, because the Slock is still a very tempting choice here for XRG, especially if they opt to build an early Orchid or an early Abyssal Blade on the Slock. But if they want some more lockdown, the Sven does fit the bill. Alright, we're still waiting, as 30 seconds are now left on their reserve clock. XRG, they're thinking this one through to the very bitter end. Either that or someone's AFK on their team, which is why they're just taking as long as they possibly can with the draft. Don't be surprised, guys, because there are I know of a few teams that do that. Usually you'll have someone going AFK during the draft, and teams just bide their time while he comes back. But Juggernaut will be the last and final pick, as it's something that, again, it does work well versus the magic damage from Storm and the Gyro, with the Blade Fury mitigating and negating most of it. And they'll also have the heal from the Healing Ward, but Ancient Apparition says no to that with the Ice Blast, if they can land it in a good team fight. But yeah, it's a blend of physical and magic damage coming up with the Juggernaut. They'll have the Blade Fury to burst through that Cold Embrace from the Winter Wyvern, and they also have the Omni Slash to slice up and dice up the Gyrocopter to bits. The Lockdown on their side, though, they've got the Invoker for the control, the Earthshaker and the Slaughter for the raw lockdown, and Phoenix for disruptive team fights. So as we get this game on the way, we've got an instant pause coming out here from Random5, as they do have a disconnection on their side. But unfortunately, we don't have a team name up top here, but it's XRG on the Radiant and R5 on the Dire. We'll start with the introductions as soon as R5 picks up that Storm Spirit. Oh, we can just introduce Red as the upcoming Storm Spirit. You've got Boompakli? How do you pronounce this? On the Ancient Apparition. Human on the Gyrocopter. Stig on the Tidehunter. And Logic on the Winter Wyvern. On the other side of the river, you've got Neji handling that Invoker. You've got Riftfront playing the Phoenix. Slaughter will be played by Jaime New. Kelvin on that Juggernaut. And on the Earthshaker. So you've got a Rage Quit apparently. Yeah, right. R5 waiting for that last pickup. But if we do look at the drafts here, it seems like XRG has all the tools needed to run away with it. They've got plenty of control, lots of lockdown, good team fight, and decent amounts of scalability into the late game phase. While R5, they've got huge team fight, all revolving around that one Tide Hunter Ravage and the Ice Blast coming in with a call down. But BKBs could really spell disaster for R5 if XRG manages to pull out a couple of them early on. A fairly long pause here from R5. He's got a Pentium 4 apparently. Man, that's ancient. Let's just hope he jumps back quickly here. The game plan for XRG, they should have recognized that R5 has very long cooldowns on some of their crucial spells. Even the Winter Scare is not something to be taken lightly, but it's a 90-second cooldown if whiffed. Which means that every time R5 pushes out one of those cooldowns on the Ravage, Winter Curse, or, well, not so much the Ice Blast, given that's just 40 seconds, XRG should group up, possibly under cover of a smoke, to try and make some plays. And as always, when you pick a Slaughter, it is very crucial that you get a quick blink tagger on him. Else he's just a walking piece of fish, I'd say, because you really want that Slaughter to blink in and get multiple hero crush initiations, which can then be followed up by either the Earthshaker Fisher to hold him in position, or the Omni Slash coming through, maybe even a Phoenix Supernova that starts to get channeled up. Let's not forget a Sunstrike on top of a stun, which is a guaranteed amount of pure damage being bursted onto the enemy hero. Which is why that stun from the Slaughter is very, very crucial indeed. It's essentially a 4-second disable at max level, with a 2-second stun, 2.5-second stun, and then 2 seconds of slow thereafter. So it is really one of the best ways to lock down units, and it's a very value for mana skill. 115 mana for about a 4-second disable and an 8-second cooldown. And to top it off, it's physical damage, which synergizes really well with the amp damage as well, which is also one of the reasons we're seeing Slaughter picked up. Let's not forget the fact that Sprint no longer has a mana cost, which means that gone are the days where Slaughter really needs the mana, and gone are the days where we see Arcane Boots picked up on Slaughters as a utility item for the offlaner. But again, a disconnection, this time on the other side. Kelvin on the Juggernaut will be disconnecting. He started off with a Mango and a Stout Shield, so he's not opting to get the Quelling Blade, which leads me to question whether or not he's going to go for the Battle Fury at all this game, or if he'll just go for the early game mobility build. And we've seen many Juggernauts too. Phase Boots into Drums into Yasha possibly, or maybe even the early Vanguard, which eventually gets converted into an Abyssal Blade. I do like the Vanguard build this game though. Having raw HP and damage block versus the Storm Spirit and the Gyrocopter isn't a bad choice. It is going to be an offlane Tide Hunter though, and Anchor Smash will work well versus the Juggernaut, but there will be the pure damage coming in from the Phoenix, and you've also got magic damage coming out from the Juggernaut. A well-placed Fisher block could basically mitigate the dispel from the Kraken Shell, which could eventually lead to the Tide Hunter being brought down. But he's done the smart thing here. He's picked up the Boots of Speed to start with, knowing that he'll need to kite around that Juggernaut early on. Having that movement speed edge over the Juggernaut, who will be looking to run him down with the Blade Fury, will be very, very useful. But as Kelvin will pick up his own Boots of Speed, he will be faster than the Tide Hunter, given that the Tide has a base movement speed of... Oh no, they've actually got the exact same amount of movement speed. 305 base with 45 from the Boots of Speed. Same for the Juggernaut. Battle begins and runes will be secured. Peaceful start once again. We've seen many peaceful starts in the ESL India Premiership so far. Neji will pick up a bounty, as will Red on the Storm Spirit. And they'll be moving back towards the middle lane. Uh-oh. The Dire Observer Ward has been scouted out though, and it should be dewarded soon. We already see the Phoenix, aka Riftron, hanging around in the middle lane, waiting to move up onto the cliff. And they do have tangos on Neji as well as the Phoenix. And they'll start off with the Sunray to piss off Red as well. So they'll send him on his way, giving the Invoker the early edge in terms of CS. Bottom lane, Stig. Will he get clipped by the Fisher here? Looks like Earthshaker started with the boots as well. So he knows that he's going to have to kite around that Tidehunter, which is why he's got the early boots. While Phoenix is the sacrificial lamb here, picking up the wards and everything else. No Invoker. He'll find the D ward, but he's walked quite up here for it. And he's taken a beating from Red. In fact, he's going to get zoned all the way out. You've got the damage advantage going in favor of the Storm Spirit. Not to mention, he's on his high ground, which means the creeps will favor him. Neji takes a few blows there before coming back into the lane. Just quickly gonna adjust my audio settings. Looks like game sounds are a bit too loud today. This does seem to happen every now and then. Dota has been buggy for a while now. You've got a stack pull coming out as well from the support, so they're doing well to control the creep equilibrium, slowing down the Slaughter's progression. But Slaughter did start with the Iron Talon, so he'll be jumping into the jungle often. We already see him up to level 2, while Stig, he's having a ball of a time at this bottom lane. He's got himself 1 CS in the bank, but the creep wave is now coming closer to his tower. However, Rift Run, he's looking to stack this and change the creep equilibrium back in favor of the Radiant. 2 minutes in, still no first blood, but that might change at the middle lane. You've got a cold snap thrown down. Red taking a few hits, and he's got no more consumable items. He opted not to call out a salve despite picking up the bounty rune, and Neji spotted this out as he called out boots for himself early on. He can now kite around the Storm Spirit and dish out chunks of damage on him, which is why we're seeing the Invoker now sitting at 10 and 5 CS up against the 9 and 2 on the Storm Spirit. So Red is starting to fall behind a little bit, but not too much. Now at top, Ancient Apparition comes in with a few auto attacks on the Slaughter. But like I pointed out earlier, killing him is going to be next to impossible because they've got really no reliable lockdowns to hold him while he sprints away from the Rocket Barrage damage. Unless we see homing missile points being picked up, which I find very absurd on a gyrocopter this early on. Neji is bullying the Storm Spirit right now with the 4th Spirit summoned and ready to go. While Red, he's getting closer and closer to level 6 as well, which is probably when he has a bit of a window to try and kill off the Invoker, but the Invoker will have to keep him on low HP to ensure that the kill doesn't take place. You've got the Basilius coming out for Neji as well, so he's not going to have too many mana issues either. Alright, bottom lane, Tidehunter, he's starting to walk on thin ice now because you've got the boots finished up on the Juggernaut. Fisher is available from the Earthshaker, and there's no observer ward to scout out these movements. Creep equilibrium going to be reset again as the pull comes through to the side. And Tide, well, he'll find himself 1 creep on the back of that, but the damage has been done. Stig now has to go in deep if he wants to get any more CS and farm. The 4-minute illusion rune picked up by the Earthshaker. He's going to walk towards the middle lane, and he won't get scouted out on this rotation because there is no observer ward in the bottom river. Red, he's still to hit level 6. A 4th Spirit Summon and a Cold Snap both are available here, and they'll make a play. Red getting clipped with the Fisher as well. It's a perfect block, and we spoke about this during the draft. With a rotation from the Earthshaker prior to level 6, we could see a kill coming out, and that's exactly what we see as Neji will score first blood for himself. Meanwhile, Slaughter, how's he doing up top? He's close to level 5. Pretty much a similar situation for Stig, but now he's been hit by the Fisher. Mango consumed, Blade Fury expended, and Stig could be going down. You've even got the pure damage from the Sunray. Riftron will find the 2nd kill of this game on hhis Phoenix, making it 2-0 in favor of XRG now. R5. They're starting to fall behind now. 2,000 net worth against R5 in favor of XRG, and they've also got about a 500 EXP lead going their way. However, the Gyro, he's actually not doing too well either. He's at 19 CS. When you compare that to the Juggernaut, who's got a good 32 under his belt with an assist as well. XRG are just dominating this early game phase. Meanwhile, Neji's crossed level 6, red. He's getting that bit by bit. There is an observer ward on the cliff as well. So once he hits level 6, they could make a play onto the invoker. Well, in the jungle, Hymen is going to be run down by Bumpakli. Rift run. Look at the observer place of the rune yet again. So the 6-minute wards have been refreshed, but the convergence towards middle lane. Storm Spirit, he is walking on thin ice right now, and he knows it. You've got the Winter Wyvern deeping in to offer some sort of support. But the tower is being pressured. There's the cold snap starting it off. The Sun Raider followed up. Here comes the Fisher from the Earthshaker. It'll clip along with the Sunstrike. Oh, it just barely misses. While the Cold Embrace heals up red. You've got Rift Run flying forward. The Crush will be there and red will be brought down. Not having that ball lightning to get away. Jaime knew though. On the verge of getting picked off himself. He's thinking of killing himself off to the Ancients, but instead decides that he's got the sprint. And will run further south and escape. So 3-0 now. Almost everyone on the side of XRG moving mid for that kill on the Storm Spirit. The second death on him before he hits level 6. As Invoker. He's going to be feeling very happy with the way this laning phase has gone for him. He's almost got his Midas online. We should be looking at an 8-minute Midas. As the Earthshaker gets himself the 3rd assist of his game. So he's been a part of every single kill on the map so far. We do see another disconnection coming out from R5. Indian Dota, best Dota. Infrastructure issues all over the place. R5, hopefully they'll come back to this game quickly, but they are falling further and further behind. They'll have to pull off something miraculous if they want to pull back this early game. And as far as miracles go, they do have the tools needed. The Ravage was expended in that last fight as well, so 133 seconds without it now. Well, Stig will be forced to move back and farm a little bit, getting closer to his... Well, he does have the money to buy the Arcane Boots, so I'd expect him to pick it up right about now. There's no point in trying to chase this Slaughter anymore, because Slaughter does have boots and the sprint available. So he should be comfortably getting out of here. I don't even see any TPs available on the side of R5. I do believe they were expended. Yep, Winter Wyvern. His TP's on cooldown. He doesn't even have the mana to pull it off. And Tidehunter, while he may have the TP in 4 seconds, it's going to be a bit too late. And Slaughter will skirt on out through this little path here in the tree lines. They desperately need that Storm Spirit to hit 6 and find some place on this map to farm. He hasn't even got his boots yet, and we're 6 minutes in. He's got only 18 CS. When you compare that to the 32 on the Invoker, he has just been crushed. There's even 20 denies on the Invoker, which adds up. And he's actually got 2 full levels onto the Storm Spirit now, given that the Storm has died 2 times this game. Well, looks like he's reconnecting. R5. But in the meanwhile, emoticons will be spammed. Yeah, I really do hate these games with long disconnections and frequent pauses. I can understand that it's probably annoying for you guys as the viewers as well. But hey, props to you folks for tuning in time and again onto the stream. It's been an absolute pleasure casting these matches for you. And of course, if you're enjoying, hit the follow button on twitch.tv/ESL India Premiership and tune in next time we're live. And, well, spread the word. Tell your friends that one of India's largest tournaments is being broadcasted live every single evening. The game will get back underway. As Rift Run will hit the resume button. Bottom lane, Slaughter skirts on out of here. Tidehunter, no points in the gush to slow him down either. And I do think Jaime will be forced to make a base trip now. No sense in hanging around here when he's this low. So he opted to finish up the Tranquil Boots and the Magic Stick before getting those, while rushing towards the Blink Dagger. He's still been a part of most of these fights, rotating around, but now he should be looking to secure his level 6 and the Blink Dagger up top. Human. He still hasn't got the phase boots. This is uncontested free farm, 7 minutes in. And he's only got the Ring of Aquila. I'm not sure what he's doing here, but it seems like he might be missing some CS. Stacks in the jungle though. It's a 3 stack on the small camp. As Winter Wyvern will continue to control the creep equilibrium, preventing the Slaughter from getting anything on this lane. Neji continues to pressure down this mid tier 1 while Red, he's been sent off the lane and into the jungle now. He'll finally find his boots of speed, and he's also got himself up to level 6. Riftfront coming in to try and contest some of this farm, but they're a bit too late. However, they do have the observer ward placed down now for anyone that might be farming the enemy jungle. So this is how XRG will regain map control. They'll drop down wards deep inside the enemy jungle. They've already commandeered most of the space on the dire side of the map. Hymeneu, they want to steal this stack, and they'll start with the Crush and the Sunray. They should be able to bring it down, but the Splinter Blast comes out, and oh, Winter Wyvern's a rich birdie. And she'll fly away now. She'll even buy herself a backup TP scroll, while middle lane, the tier 1's down, and Red can't do squat about it. Rotation coming in, but most of these movements have been scouted out by this observer ward here. I don't think they've got enough lockdown now to bring down the Storm Spirit. Perhaps with the Cold Snap, they'll start it off, Cold Snap, but instantly we'll see the ball lightning away. But yeah, the intervals between the Cold Snap, not the shortest at the moment, which is why it's going to be really hard to bring down the Storm without that Blink Crush on the Slaughter. He's getting closer though. He's now up to 600 gold. And he's starting to find some CS as well, with 20 in his stash. Well, Invoker does have his Midas prepped and ready. He started to pull ahead in terms of levels. And the bottom tier 1 tower is now about to be pressured. Riftfront's moving up top. They do want to make a play on Human here. Oh, Hymeneu, this is not a good idea though. He's run all the way in. Human does have the call down, but he's chosen not to drop it just yet. A little bit surprising actually, given that he did have the phase boots as well. So they force out a rotation here from the Ancient Apparition, who's still struggling to get level 6 himself. While middle lane Neji is trying to man up and go in for the kill on the Winter Wyvern. Cold Snap with double Force Spirits doing some work. Winter Wyvern, he's taking a beating. But Neji, this was some questionable play coming out from him. But hey, Red doesn't chase him down, and Neji will survive. I'm not sure what prompted him to run straight into the Winter Wyvern and the Storm Spirit like that. Just knowing that the Storm is very underleveled, I guess, is what gave him the confidence to go in there. Perhaps if the Sunstrike connected, Winter Wyvern would have been a dead birdie. He was hoping that Winter Wyvern uses the Cold Embrace and he Sunstrikes him on top of that. Well, that didn't work out. Winter Wyvern knowing what to do, using the Cold Embrace only once in Fog. Well, now you've got 1,000 gold finished up on this Slaughter. He doesn't give a damn over the dagger. They'll start with the Fisher, the Amp into the Crush, into the Sunstrike, and that's a dead Gyrocopter. And Slaughter looks like he might be losing his life. You've got the Phoenix jumping forward with the Fire Spirits, zoning out the Ancient Apparition as well. Winter Wyvern TP's back in, drops the Splinter Blast, but there's not much they can do. Now they do have the level 6 on the Ancient Apparition. Does he consume the Mango? Yeah, he does. He's gonna fire out that Ice Blast as well. But I don't think it's gonna be enough. The Ice Blast has gone way too far in. He's actually aimed all the way for the fountain. That was a mistake. It's gonna find nobody now. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Juggernaut does his thing with the Omni Slash, finding a solo kill on the Tidehunter. So both the Omni Slash and the Blade Fury were used for that one. Tidehunter just overestimating his tankiness there. Well, you do have the Storm now TPing in towards the bottom. Just looking for whatever farm that he can. Given that he's been shut down so hard this game, he needs to find some sort of a recovery, and he needs to find it fast, because right now you've got the Juggernaut and the Invoker just snowballing ahead in terms of net worth. In fact, the Slaughter's catching up as well. 1,500 now in his bank account. He's looking at that Blink Dagger, and he's smacking his lips while the Tranquil Boots will heal him up. The Dire Observer does scout out this movement from XRG, so we shouldn't see any deaths here on R5. But Slaughter's still moving in without a dam here. He's moved all the way forward. Amp damage thrown down onto the Ancient Apparition, as they'll manage to reveal some of the positions on the Gyro and the Winter Wyvern. But XRG are still pinging this out. They want to move forward. R5, too spooked to fight this. They'll move all the way back instead. They now need that Winter's Curse to come online for the Winter Wyverns before they can take a fight. But they've yet to get a single kill this game, and the net worth and EXP charts are slowly but surely slipping away from them. Neji with the Forward Spirits doing for work. Sorry about that. Doing some work. The tier 1 tower about to go down, but you've got Slaughter again scouting out Stig. They do have the Ravage available with the Buckler picked up on him as well. But they're not going to be able to surprise XRG with any sneaky plays. You've got Slaughter coming in. The Fisher did get dropped, but Slaughter's taking a beating now. Do they expend the Ravage on him? He does use the Crush, and he does have the Sprint ready if he wants to make a run for it. Ice Blast. It'll just barely miss him as he stops in his tracks. But XRG are converging once again, looking to take this fight. Well, they have a bit of a vision advantage here. Another amp thrown down onto Stake, while Juggernaut just continues to farm bottom, not giving a damn about what his teammates are doing up top. R5 are getting cordoned off onto their tier 2 tower, while the tier 1 still stands fairly healthy. Fight's broken out. Sunstrike is going to connect along with the Meteor, along with the Deafening Blast. They'll get the kill on the Winter Wyvern. Slaughter's on the front line. Sunray doing some work on Stig, as the sprint will allow the Slaughter to get away for now. He'll just refresh the amp on his way out. And it's now 6 for 0. XRG finding another pick-off on the support of R5, while Juggernaut continues to use this space to free farm. He is indeed going for the Battle Fury, as he did pick up most of the components. Just a Perseverance left now. The top tier 1 tower, it's about to go down, but if they spotted that the Invoker's got very little mana to work with, they might want to contest. But with the Slaughter just being the meat shield on the front line, zoning out R5's heroes, they're getting the psychological advantage here. And R5 is not going to be able to defend. Neji will find himself another tower takedown. He's opted to get the Blink Dagger first. Mobility is the name of his game, not rushing the Yule Scepter for those early pickoffs. Given that Deafening Blast no longer silences units, the Storm Spirit is not susceptible to the Sunstrike combo. Rift Run, he's going to have to use the Supernova there. And Stig will just walk straight past the burning egg under his feet. A bit of a misplay coming out there from Phoenix, overestimating his capabilities to hold the Titan to in position. But he's also got 10 stick charges. There was almost no way he was going down there. Slaughter's got his shiny new Blink Dagger though, and this is the one we were looking for, as XRG starts to bear their fangs at larger objectives in the form of these tier 2s. If Red gets clipped by a Crush, that could be the end of him. He needs to be really careful, and he's opted not to put a single point into the Electric Vortex, so they're one disable less now till he gets a few more levels. While Neji's rushing the Aghanim Scepter this game, as opposed to going for the Yule Scepter. He's also put a point into the Vex, which is why he did have the Deafening Blast in the last fight. Meanwhile, bottom lane. And now moving forward towards that tier 2 tower. We're yet to see a single Smoke of Deceit being used in this game by either side. And it looks like no one's picked them up just yet. Nice blast. It'll fly through but won't do any damage on any of the heroes. That tier 2 has taken a lot of damage, while the Fisher will come out now. Stig will get the Meteor and the Deafening Blast thrown on his head. The Crush will come through, immediately shrugged off by the Kraken Shell, but the Sunray doing some work. Stig is going to be alive, but the Ancient Apparition not so fortunate. He'll die to the Invoker. As the Healing Ward gets dropped, everyone from XRG, Hale and Hearty, and Invoker will find himself another tier 2 tower. Now they're moving forward. Logic is going to get clipped with the Fisher. Another double kill now picked up for Neji. The Blade Fury doing some damage as well. And with the Winter Wyvern and the Ancient Apparition, both the Icicles on the sidelines here, R5 are even going to experience some chip damage on their tier 3 tower. But the smart thing for XRG is to back away, given that they haven't got too much mana to work with now. While Earthshaker, he's getting close to his own Blink Dagger as well. We're yet to see a single kill coming out from R5. No one on the side of XRG has died, and it's getting closer and closer to that flawless victory that they should be looking to claim. The Healing Ward will come back online in about 8 seconds time. They've got the amp damage to help bring down Roshan quicker. At the same time, Neji and the Earthshaker will continue to pressure mid, forcing Random5 to make a choice. Do they go contest Roshan, risking a full team wipe, or do they go towards the middle lane? But it looks like Roshan will be left to his own devices and will live to see another day, as XRG will start to converge on this middle lane. They do have the Arcane Rune on the Slaughter, so his mana not going to be as much of an issue. They want to jump on this Gyro perhaps. Fisher will catch on to 2. Kelvin does have the Omni Slash, but they're just zoning out the enemy heroes for now while taking down the tier 2 tower. Crush catches 2. Sunray gonna catch both of them as well. Lots of damage being dished out. Gyro's taking a beating. Omni Slash comes through, but the Cold Embrace is there. It'll keep the Gyro alive, but not too much for the Winter Wyvern, who's gone down instead. Human will be brought down next. Double kill for the Juggernaut. There's the Ravage. Catches on 3. The Ice Blast comes through as well. The first kill on the side of R5 will be the Earthshaker. Double kill for the Storm as he'll bring down the Juggernaut as well. Lots of money going in his hands. Triple kill for Red. He brings down the Phoenix. He's a rich Storm Spirit now, and he's looking for more as the Earthshaker just stands his high ground and tries to make a play here. He doesn't have the Echo Slam. He can buy the Blink and 3 more gold. He needs to be able to run away. He buys it and then he dies. An Ultra kill for the Storm Spirit. But the damage might have been done here. The tier 2 tower goes down. The Gyro and the Tidehunter will fall, but that's a massive gold swing back in favor of Random5. XRG, they do manage to keep their Invoker alive for now. He buys himself that full Aghanim Scepter. But we can already see the Storm Spirit creeping back up in terms of net worth. He's now third on the charts with 6,400 gold or 6,400 net worth attributed to his name. We'll have to wait and see if he goes for the Orchid or if he goes for something bigger like the Bloodstone as his first item of choice. But either way, we are seeing signs of life now for R5. The graphs, while they're 15,000 ahead in favor of the Radiant, they're starting to move back downwards a little bit. Same with the EXP. It is about a 4,000 experience lead though for XRG. They will be feeling a little bit spooked after that last team fight that they bungled up. Just not respecting the power of that Ravage into the Ice Blast combo, but Ravage is now on cooldown for a minute. So XRG could hit the reset button and try and make a play, but some of their spells are on cooldown as well. The Supernova not available for another 20 seconds. The Omni Slash down for about 10. Neji, he smells blood in the water. He wants a kill here. As the Juggernaut will be coming through as well. Alacrity to start things up. The Cold Snap is there. They'll blink forward. Stig, he's going to try and turn around. He mechs up. The call down comes through, but there's the Blade Fury. It'll run down the Tidehunter. He's going to be going down as Neji drops a defensive ice wall, hoping to hold Human in position while the rest of his teammates converge on this bottom lane as well. You've got a disconnection coming out though from the Winter Wyvern, who's flapping her wings and making her way back to base. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a pause coming out soon once again. Nope. Not a single dam was given so far. They'll control the Winter Wyvern instead. Send him out towards the bottom lane. But Roshan's being taken down here. Neji and Co going to work on the big man in the pit. With the amp damage, they'll bring him down quickly. The scan dropped barely outside the rush pit. So they now know, considering that the slaughter went in and out, the R5 is inside the pit. But it doesn't matter. Aegis already secured by the Juggernaut, as XRG is looking to breach high ground. Ancient stacks, they can be cleaned up with the Battle Fury on this Juggernaut. He's got a good 2,400 gold, so perhaps he goes for a Blink Dagger of his own this game. We shall see, because for now he is fairly stacked, but he might want to spend the money before they move higher ground. It makes sense to get another item advantage before trying to force the issue. But hey, as of now it is 4v5. And the Winter Wyvern still showing no signs of coming back. R5, I'm very surprised that they're not pausing. Storm Spirit, what is he up to go for? He is going for the Bloodstone. Just a little more money till he can buy the whole thing out. And he'll farm up the rest of the gold in the jungle. XRG being the good sports here that they are. Yeah, now they're gonna offer the pause in R5. Okay, looks like Red is frustrated with his teammate. Can you really blame him though if it's internet issues? How can you really solve that? Because I can understand that some people may not be able to afford the best internet connections, and even if you can't afford it or you can afford it, it's a task convincing your parents, if you're playing on your parents' money, that is, especially if you're a college student on allowance. There's that, and there's also the factor that sometimes even if you do have the money available, you just cannot get a good connection in your area. I understand your pain, Winter Wyvern. I know what it's like, because even in my area, sometimes the internet just does tend to go potato, and despite having 3 ISPs, all 3 of them are garbage most of the time. But hey, he's back. XRG. They don't want. There's no honor in winning 4v5. But at the moment, R5, if they want to catch up to this net worth advantage that XRG has, it's going to cost them a kidney or two. The question is, do they have kidneys available in stock to sell? Red showed that he did have a few. He's almost got that bloodstone, and you know, if R5 can find a few more kills or successful team fights, those bloodstone charges will start to add up for Red. And the snowball will be real, but not like this. They're gonna crush Fisher. No Sunstrike on top. Echo Slam expended. And that's the Dead Storm Spirit before he buys the Bloodstone. That's a very crucial pickoff. The dominating streak taken away by the Earthshaker, and the Echo Slam was well worth it there. No buyback on the Storm. They've still got the Aegis on the Juggernaut. He's got 4,000 gold, but he's choosing not to spend it before they breach high ground. They'll throw the Alacrity on him, and here we go. High ground. Getting breached. No more dire creeps to work with. The tier 3. Taking some damage. No fortification available. They'll throw down spells, but the Ice Wall whiffed there by Neji. But that tier 3 not long for life. The Healing Ward keeping Kelvin and Co alive. Fortification comes back. They'll start to stack up the amp damages on the R5 heroes so they can initiate should they choose to. But the tier 3 is now down, and this is when they probably jump in. Keep your eyes on the Slaughter, folks. He's looking for those 2-man crushes, and there is an opportunity available now. Call downs coming through. Stakes walking forward. Ice Blast. It's going to connect on nobody, as the 4 staff will get Kelvin out of position. Even a defensive Fisher gets dropped. Now with spells on cooldown, they'll jump in. They'll get a 2-man crush. The Meteor Deafening Blast. It's there and it's beautiful. It'll catch on to a whole bunch of heroes. Winter's Curse comes through. Neji's getting sliced by the Juggernaut, but it's not nearly enough, as Neji's now on a wicked 6 streak. The Phoenix jumps forward, gets a Fire Spirit off on the Winter Wyvern. He's going to Cold Embrace herself in the middle, and the Sunstrike will finish the job. Neji about to go down here. The Crush not catching onto Red, but they will get the stun off on him with the Fisher anyway. Stake comes in. Gets the Ravage, Rift Run. He'll go down to the Gyrocopter Human. Trying to get the kill on Neji, but he's under cover of the Ghost Walk. Gems on the floor. 2-man crush. Shrugged off immediately by Stig. As Gyro's about to lose his life, he'll make a run for it. Tied on the left for dead behind. Red comes in for round 2. He's trying to fight this. He's trying to fight the good fight here. He'll get a kill on Invoker. That's a monster kill streak taken. And again, more money going into his hands. A full Bloodstone finished up. But it will come at the cost of the Raxes. And Kelvin still has the Aegis at the ready. But hey, it's just a ranged Rax that goes down. R5 manages to find some more money. It didn't cost them any buybacks there. And the Storm is now out to play with 12 charges on the Bloodstone. He's going to zip forward, but will not find a pick-off on the retreat. I've got to say that fight looks like it favors R5 a little bit. While they may have lost a whole bunch of their cores, they end up defending their melee Raxes, and they get a good 1500 gold from the kill on that Invoker, going in favor of the 2-position hero on Random5. He's going towards the Orchid, I would assume. Now, I think he bought the baseball bat and sold it off immediately, so no Oblivion stuff's going to be picked up just yet. Possibly just changing gears and getting the BKB instead now. But Tidehunter has the blink dagger now, so the element of surprise is at their it's in their back pocket if they want to blink and ravage, catch out a few before the Slaughter finds the initiation on them. Random5. I really don't want to count them out just yet, and this could be a very exciting comeback if they can pull off their combos just right. But it's getting dangerous now because the Juggernaut, he spent his money, and it will be a full Assault Cuirass coming out for him. Questionable item choice, given that magic damage is available in abundance on the side of R5, that he would choose to go for armor of all things. I'd have expected a BKB to add more value here, if anything. Possibly even the blink dagger for mobility. But whatever floats his boat. Meanwhile, Invoker going for the Ethylens this game, so they want to close out this game early. He's opted not to get a BKB of his own either. I really feel like the BKB would add so much value here. It renders the Storm Spirit completely useless, and pretty much the Gyro as well. And if you can dodge the Ravage through the BKB, nothing like it. Another pause though. We're getting closer to the point where I start reading out jokes on stream. Waiting for the resume. Resume comes out, and this game will get back underway. RIP Aegis. Juggernaut not putting it to the best use in the last fight. Oh, but this could be disastrous. Humans down. And that's the Ice Wall holding the gyro in position. No BKB on the gyro, so he will be slowed down fully by it. With the alacrity on the Juggernaut, they just sliced him to bits. 44 seconds without a Juggernaut, and you've got a disconnected Tidehunter. The fate of this game not looking very good for R5, I have to admit. 40 seconds is more than enough to bring down the tier 3, if not a full lane of Raxes, really. We should see XRG pushing here. The Ice Blast is flying out towards bottom, but I don't think it's going to do too much. Well, folks, we could be a while with this next pause, but Kelvin, he does want to end this game now. R5, though, can they actually defend this? Because they don't have a Ravage for 20 seconds. I wonder if XRG's taken down the timer, knowing that the Ravage is on cooldown. But they do know that the Aegis is no longer at their disposal. And Kelvin is a little low on mana. He did expend the Omni Slash for that kill on the gyro as well. So breaching higher ground might be a bit difficult. But that said, they do have the Supernova and the Echo Slam ready, along with the Blink and Force Staff on both the Slaughter and the Earthshaker now. Alright folks, since we've got nothing better to do, I'm actually going to start reading out some jokes now on stream. There's only so much that we can talk about a 25-minute game that's 18-6 with XRG looking to end it. But hey, why is Pugna a bad support? Because he nether wards. Prepare yourselves, folks. You're going to start cringing a lot till Tidehunter reconnects. I'm going to crack all these silly, cheesy jokes till then. Alright, up next we've got, why did Pugna stay at the rehab facility? I'll take a crack addict. No, that was actually terrible, even by my standards. What did Tidehunter say to the comedian? You're cracking me up. Get it? Kraken shell? No? Anyone? Okay then. What is Tinker's favorite month? I think this one's fairly easy. March, March and March. Where does Spirit Breaker go to the toilet? To the bathroom. That was horrible. That was goddamn horrible. Please reconnect fast, Tidehunter, before we all start losing our minds on stream. Why did Kunkka go to jail? Because he torrents too much. Why does Luna hate Venomancer? Because he always tries to poison Nova. Get it? Nova? Nova is Luna's pet. Whatever the hell that is. Is that a rat or a cat? It looks like... Have you ever looked at Luna's cat? It actually looks like one of those rats that Ganesh or Ganpati sits on. If you guys have ever been to a Ganpati temple in your lives, you'll know what I'm talking about. Luna. Character design inspired by Indian gods indeed. Ah, finally. We've got this game back underway. Ice Blast whiffs off, and you guys, I'll spare you with some more horrible jokes for later. But this is gonna be my go-to going forward every time the stream has lags and pauses. But tier 3 is now being breached. Jaime New walking straight forward, looking for a final pick off before ending this game. Tier 3 is down. Kelvin getting clipped. He could be frozen in place. He's a little far away from that cold feet debuff. Jaime New, he's been scattered with the flying vision from that fire remnant. He's getting pulled in as well, but the Sunray will keep him alive. There's the Winter's Curse on Kelvin, but he's not gonna die that easy. They needed the Juggernaut to do some of the damage there, but it won't be coming out, as the Supernova will now come out on the front line. Stig, he's trying to fight his way through this, but he's gonna get stunned up twice and brought down. Juggernaut gets the kill there, while Winter Wyvern drops the Meteor, following it behind. This is going to be the end of the game for R5 by the looks of it. Red's trying to do what he can. Ice Blast comes through. Rift Run mixed up just before, but he's about to go down. Echo Slam connects onto 3, while Human will be dropping next. You've got a buyback from Red. Instantly stunned as he respawns, and he'll zip forward once or twice. Rift Run, even Icarus diving away. He'll be kept alive. The stun onto Red. He's been held in position. The Cold Snap making him breakdowns there, as it's a 6-man team wipe for R5. A dieback on the Storm Spirit. And that'll be the end of this game by the looks of it. As the GG well played will be called out, XRG will be your victors for the day. The scoreline of 24-6, 26 minutes in. They'll proceed through the brackets while Random5 will be knocked out. Left to try again in Starter Cup 2. The registrations of which have opened up, by the way, so if you're looking for a team as well, you could always go down to the forums on our website afkgaming.com. You could find a team there, or you could just try and find someone in one of the many Facebook groups for Dota 2 in India. But enough about that. You're watching the ESL India Premiership organized by Nordwind Gaming. I'm CloudX. We just watched XRG beating Random5, and I'll see you guys around later on. For now though, stick around as CSGO will be coming up with Blair from So Strong taking you through it. And again, apologies for